Welcome to another episode
of Josh and Kelly. We are starting our build series for our truck, but as you can see behind us there, it's still just the truck. There's no cap. We're still waiting for that to come. But there's quite a few reasons why we're going to start building, and we're going to share them with you now. Okay, so the first reason that we're not waiting until we get the space cap to actually start the build is that there are certain things that we can do on the truck things that we wanted to do anyway. And one of them is the winch. So this is the front of the truck here, and in this space right here, there's actually a factory spot right here in the front bumper. There's a factory spot for a winch. As a matter of fact, you can actually get from the factory a winch in that spot. Now, we didn't do that for a couple of reasons. One, there was obviously an expense with that, but also the winch that came factory into that spot is not the winch we wanted. That was a 10,000 pound winch. We wanted a 12,000. So we're going to get one put on. Actually, it's getting put on tomorrow, but it can't fit in that spot. So there's a bracket that's going to go across the front from this toe point to that toe point. There's a bracket that's going to go there, and it's going to sit in front so that we actually have the winch that we want. I wanted to be able to have something that was probably at least twice of what we needed, so that we could not only pull ourselves, but others if necessary, regardless of their size. All right, now the second thing is that there are some things on the truck that need to be done before we get the space cap. Let me show you one of them. So right over here, this is the sidewall of the bed. And right there, we drilled a hole in there, and I've sprayed it and everything else to make sure there's no rust or corrosion in that point. But we needed that because that is the main spot that the only place we have to drill in this bed, and that is the exhaust point for the heater. So it's got to be able to go all the way outside. So that is the exhaust point, and then it'll go out and come out in front of the rear tire. So that exhaust point is literally just about here. It's going to come out and then come down the inside of this panel and basically come out right here in front of the rear tire. Now, I could have run it to the back, so it would come out where the actual truck exhaust is, but I didn't want that for a couple of reasons. One, as you can see, the truck's got like maybe 2,000 miles on it, and you can already see that this tailpipe here has been hit with all kinds of dirt and debris and stuff, and I didn't want that because the pipe for the actual heater is not nearly as robust as that one. And so I didn't want it behind the tire to get all the debris. I wanted it in front of the tire so it wouldn't get any of the debris. So that's why it's going to come out probably around here somewhere and be our heater point. Now, the second reason that we are starting to build already is that there are things we can do before the cap gets here to make the actual process of building that much quicker. And one of those is what you see on the ground here behind me. This is one of our solar panels, and you're going to say, but it's not black. You're right, because it's actually flipped upside down at the moment. That's the padding that it came with. The actual solar panels, I got two of them. They look like this. They're flexible. Okay, so they are like this. They're 200 watts each, and they're flexible. And I spent a good bit of yesterday putting some mounting brackets, these little aluminum runners, mounting brackets on them, so that they are just off of the roof. The reason being is that most solar panels, so you can actually see here the runners more clearly on this, and then this is actually a polycarbonate building wall. It's about 8 millimeters thick. That's going to create some air gaps and some air flow, because one of the things about solar panels, especially flexible solar panels, they do heat up in the sun. And if you mount it directly onto the surface, like if we mounted it directly onto the fiberglass of the cap, then it would be okay, but there would also be a lot of residual heat coming off of the back here. So all of this white is actually the back of the solar panel, and there'd be a lot of residual heat coming off of that would potentially deteriorate the fiberglass, and in particular the gel coat of the fiberglass. And so we didn't want that. So I talked to both manufacturers, the manufacturer of the actual solar panel and the manufacturer of the space cap, and asked them about it. And they said, well, if that's the case, then we recommend an air gap. So I've created an air gap here that will hopefully do us. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to be putting some VHB tape on these rails. Instead of you see there's actual points on there to screw them in, but I'm not screwing them in because I don't want to create any potential points of water intrusion in the cap. So I'm doing the least amount of holes as necessary. So I'm going to put some VHB tape on these. Now VHB tape is actually what I've got here as well. This is a thicker version of on the back of these, and that is thick, like I can't even begin to pull that off. It's super strong. Well, VHB stands for very high bond. It's a 3M product, so it's super strong, and it should be able to handle holding these on with these brackets here. It should be able to hold them onto the roof very well. All right, so I'm just going to finish these off, these panels off, by putting this VHB tape on the back. But first I'm going to clean them with some alcohol, then I'm going to put the tape on. But I've only got one roll of tape, which is only going to do for one of these solar panels. So I'm going to have to wait. I've ordered another one. I have to wait for that to come in before I can do the second one. But it's going to be the exact same process as this one. This panel is ready to be installed. It's got all the sticky tape on it. It's as easy as that. Just press it down. It's an instant bond. And we'll prep the roof of the cap in the same way with some alcohol. Make sure it's nice and clean, and just press this directly on it. And then it's a permanent install.
Well, good morning. We have just arrived at the shop in Middletown to get our winch installed. So this will be good. This is a fairly, I guess, important part of the build that is not dependent upon the cap. So it's nice to be able to get that done today. And we actually have got what are called upfitter switches from the factory already installed. So they're just going to connect into one of those. Let me just show you those here. So here is the upfitter switches here on the roof. And yeah, so they're just going to put it right into one of them. And that will hopefully make things really simple and easy. And yeah, I'll show you the finished product.
All right, so let me give you an update here on the truck and what's going on. Let me show you. So you can see here, we've got the mounting brackets on for the winch. But we ran into some trouble yesterday when we were getting it mounted. So there's big bars that go from this side to that side and to stabilize it. But then there's a mounting plate that comes across here and it sits in the middle. And that mounting plate is where the winch sits on. Well, for some reason, Warren, who's the manufacturer of all this, does not include the mounting plate in the mounting bracket. I have no idea why. Because the mounting plate for this bracket, there's only one type that fits this bracket. It doesn't fit any of their other brackets, so it only goes with this, but they don't sell it as a complete kit. And we didn't know that until after we literally, obviously, as you can see, we're in the installation process. So they've had to order that bracket separately, which is another $500. And then they're going to install that on Monday, and then we'll have the complete thing done. But oh my, what a hassle. What a hassle. But on a positive note, what I'm glad about is you can see here, this is the actual framework. I mean, this is not thin stuff. This is thick stuff. Like, this is solid. And this is something that the technician told me. He said, this is actually not a mounting bracket as much as it is an extension of your frame out the front. Because this mounts directly onto the frame, and it's just as thick as the frame is, if not thicker. So, like right here, I'm looking at it, like this is the frame behind there. And this is just as thick, if not thicker. So this is actually more, as he said, an actual extension of the frame out the front of the vehicle on which the winch will be mounted. So it should be super strong. And of course, that's exactly what we're looking for. So while we're not done, obviously, we still have a little ways to go with getting things finalized on the truck. And again, the cap's still not there either. We are getting things done that need to get done, regardless whether the cap's on there or not. And but no work today, because today is the second of the 2 weddings that we actually came back for. So we're going to go to that wedding today, and obviously next week we'll continue to work and get the rest of the winch put on, and hopefully get the call that we're going to get the cap, because that is an important part too. So yeah, that'll all be happening next week. But for now, thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in, And as always, please like and subscribe if you're not. I have noticed there's been a ton of people who've been watching but aren't subscribed. So if that's you and you like what you see, please subscribe. It really helps the channel out and we'd appreciate it. But otherwise, until next time, we'll see you out there.